Do they live their entire lives like this?
They look so sad.
What do they do all day?
This is not right. It can't be good for them.
I don't see how it can be allowed.
I don't feel good about this. Can we go home now?
In dozens of roadside zoos across Canada, animals are housed in appalling conditions, which lead to discomfort, suffering, and poor welfare. These zoos typically fail to provide adequate shelter, shade, or privacy. Cages are often so small that it is impossible for animals to get exercise, and some can barely move at all. Concrete or wire floors prohibit the animals from moving normally and are terribly uncomfortable. Filthy cages and dirty water are all too common. If these animals were in the wild, many would roam great distances in a single day, hunting and foraging for food. Their environment would offer variety, challenges, and stimulation, and they would fully experience a whole range of behaviors that are natural and necessary for them to express. But here in the Roadside Zoo, they are confined to barren, featureless enclosures, which deprive them of opportunities to express their natural behaviors. Here, their lives become as empty as the steel-barred and wire mesh cages in which they are held. With absolutely nothing to do day after day, many animals become bored, frustrated, and stressed. Evidence of this is seen in the disturbing and abnormal behaviors displayed by so many roadside zoo animals. Observe this baboon as it chews, swallows, and regurgitates its food over and over again. Or these raccoons as they pace the front of their enclosure like a pair of demented synchronized swimmers. Pacing, rocking, and bar biting are just a few of the meaningless, repetitive movements called stereotypies that are evident in psychologically disturbed roadside zoo animals. Lethargy is another form of abnormal behavior, where animals literally sit, lie, or sleep their lives away. In more responsible, professionally run zoos, the conditions that cause these self-destructive behaviors would be addressed. But in Canadian roadside zoos, these and other serious, often outrageous conditions have been documented by veterinarians, animal behaviorists, and professional zookeepers. Time and time again, these experts have encountered disturbed, unhealthy animals being housed in filthy conditions, in poorly constructed cages and enclosures. Social animals were found housed alone. Solitary animals were held in groups. Nocturnal animals were found in bright cages with no shelter. Birds had no opportunity to fly. And running animals had nowhere to run. Water bowls were found dirty or empty, and food given to the animals was often inappropriate and sometimes rotten. WSPA, the World Society for the Protection of Animals, has published the results of these zoo investigations. They make it clear that it is all too easy to acquire wild and exotic animals, slap together a few ramshackle cages, and hang up a sign that says, "Zoo." In addition to the compromised physical and psychological state of the animals, these experts have raised the alarm concerning serious public safety issues. Roadside zoos frequently put neighboring homeowners, zoo staff, and the visiting public at risk of injury and disease. Many roadside zoos lack proper safety barriers to prevent the public from reaching into the animals' cages. Public feeding, now banned at most professional zoos, is actively encouraged, and potentially dangerous animals are kept in unsafe, poorly designed cages. There have already been a number of documented cases of human injuries and animal escapes. One 16-year-old zoo employee had his arm bitten off by a lion. In another shocking incident, a tiger, which had already mauled 2 people, killed another young boy. Children have even been bitten by monkeys, putting them at risk of potentially fatal diseases such as hepatitis and herpes. Why is this tolerated? The sad reality is that in Canada, zoos are given free rein to operate regardless of how they treat their animals or the danger they pose to their community. Dozens of roadside zoos operate with little or no regulation, and the laws that currently do exist are weak and poorly enforced. There is no legal requirement in most provinces for zoo operators to have any practical experience in zoo management or animal husbandry. It is astonishing, but true. Roadside zoos can operate not only with substandard conditions, but also with untrained and inexperienced staff, and without proper funding or appropriate safety practices. Roadside zoos argue we should overlook their faults because of the contribution they make to education and conservation. In many cases, though, the only educational information provided is on signs that are difficult to read and inaccurate. And very few roadside zoos are involved in legitimate breeding programs. The animals they typically breed, lions, tigers, and monkeys, are already in abundance in North American zoos. Since 1995, WSPA has been calling for tougher provincial zoo legislation. It is imperative that regulations be enacted that reflect the desire of Canadians to protect animals and the people who visit them. The law must require all zoos to operate at a professional standard or be closed, and their animals moved to more appropriate facilities elsewhere. Your help is needed to make this happen. Citizen initiatives in some parts of Canada have led to improvements at local zoos, and in a few cases, zoo closures. Here's how you can help. Don't visit roadside zoos. Direct concerns about animal suffering to the SPCA. Contact your premier and provincial representative. Tell others, your friends, your family, your local newspaper. The actions you take will make a difference. For the animals imprisoned in these zoos, life is hell. Not a life at all, really, but a life sentence. Days of boredom and misery become weeks. Weeks become months, and months become years. From birth until death, many of these unfortunate wild creatures exist in conditions of severe hardship and deprivation. This intolerable situation must be brought to an end. For more information, contact the World Society for the Protection of Animals. Call 1-800-363-9772 or visit our website www.wspa.ca.